Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to solve Cambridge IGCSE Mathematics Paper 4 Calculator Extended in a session May-June 2025 Paper 4-2. So let's start with the first question. Question number 1, a quadrilateral has these properties. Quadrilateral is basically a shape having four sides, right? So let's read the properties of quadrilateral. The diagonals are only lines of symmetry, okay? And it has a rotational symmetry of order 2. Write down the mathematical name of this quadrilateral. Okay, so which quadrilateral has a rotational symmetry of order 2 and the diagonals are only lines of symmetries? Okay, when you make a diagonals, these are the only lines of symmetries. So if we draw a square, the diagonals of the square, yeah, the diagonals of the square have four equal sides, right? So the diagonals of the squares are the lines of symmetries, are the only lines of symmetries. No, the square has a vertical line of symmetry, the horizontal line of symmetry, and diagonals are also the lines of symmetry. It is not a square. Okay, so it does not have rotational symmetry of order 2. Square has a rotational symmetry of order 4. So let me draw a shape that has a diagonals, the lines of symmetries. Right. So this shape, you can look at this shape. This shape is a rhombus. So if we can draw the rhombus, you can see the diagonals of the rhombus are the line. This is a line of symmetry. Both are identical. This is a line of symmetry. Both are identical. So only diagonals are the only lines of symmetries, and it has a rotational symmetry of order 2. Yes. So the shape is a rhombus. All right. Question number 2. The diagram shows the net of a solid. Write down the mathematical name of this solid. Okay. So this is a base of a solid, and these are the two triangles. The cross sections are the triangles, and then it fold the front side and the back side. So it is a triangular, and the prism, the three sides. So it is a triangular prism. It is a triangular prism, yes. Question number 3. Mass of box A ratio mass of box B is 4:7. Okay. Mass of box B is 2.4 kilogram more than the mass of a box A. Calculate the mass of a box A and the mass of the box B. All right, so the mass of a box B is 2.4 kilograms more than the mass of a box A. So let us suppose, let mass of box A is X. Then the mass of box B is 2.4 plus X, right? So A is X and the B is 2.4 over X. Now A is 4 and the B is 7, right? So if we can make a proportion that the mass of box A is X over the mass of box B is 2.4 plus X equals the mass of a box, the ratio for A is 4 and the ratio for B is 7. Cross multiplied, 7 times X is 7X. 4 times 2.4 and 4 times X. 4 times 2.4 is 9.6. X 9.6. 4 times 2.4 is 9.6 and 4 times X is 4X, right? Now 7X, take away 4X. This is 9.6. So that is 3X. We have 9.6. So dividing both sides by 3, you will get the answer 3.2 over 3 and over 3. So from here the X is 3.2. So what is X? X is the mass of a box A. So the mass of a box A is 3.2 kilograms. Now we need to figure out the mass of a box B. So the box B is 2.4 plus 3.2. So 3.2 plus 2.4, that is 5.6 kilograms is the mass of a box B. Question number 4, ABCD is a trapezium. Work out the area of a trapezium. Okay, area of a trapezium is half into A plus B multiplied by height. What is A and B? A are the sum of parallel sides, and this would be the height of the trapezium. So we can say the area of a trapezium is half. The two parallel sides are 10 and 12. So we need to add them up, 10 plus 12 and multiplied by the height, which is 8. Just simplify. Okay, so 10 plus 12 multiply by 8 and divided by 2. So that area is 88 centimeter square. Okay. Question number 5. Scott changes $300 into pounds. The exchange rate is £1 is this much dollars. Calculate the amount Scott receives in pounds. Okay. So $300 into pounds. What about $1? $1 is in terms of pounds, it's 1 over 1.20. And what about $300? $300 in terms of pounds is 300 over 1.20. 300 divide 1.20. Yes, 250 pounds. Question number 6. A solid wooden cone has a base radius 4 centimeter and the height 12 centimeter. The density of the wood is given. Calculate the mass of the cone. Density is mass over volume. Okay, so we need to figure out what is the volume of the solid wooden cone. So we know that the volume of cone is 1 over 3 pi r square h. That is a formula for the volume of the cone, right? We need to figure out the mass. So the mass would be density is mass over volume. So what is mass? So from here, mass is density into volume. Okay, so the mass is going to be, the density is 0.74 gram over centimeter cube. Multiply by the volume is 1 over 3 pi, radius is 4 centimeter, it's square, and the height is 12 centimeter. Okay, so this is 0.74 gram over centimeter cube, multiply 1 over 3 pi, 4 square is 16 times 12, and we have centimeter cube. So it is cancelled out. We are just left the answer in grams. Let me figure out what is 16 times 12 times by pi divided by 3, and this is 64 pi. Add up with 0.74. Yes. So it's not add up, it's multiplied. Let me do it again. 16 times 12 times pi divided by 3 and multiply 0.74. So that is 148. Okay, this is 148.78, or if you round it to 149 grams. Question number 7. Rearrange the formula to make m the subject. M the subject, so it means we need to subtract c on the other side. So y minus c becomes mx. Dividing, we need to make m the subject, dividing both sides by x. So y minus c over x, that is your m. So the m value is y minus c over x. Question number 8. Calculate. Okay, we just need to calculate with the help of a calculator. 2.1 square minus 1.9 divided 0.5. So that is 5.02 is a simplified answer. Question number 9. Solve the simultaneous equations. You must show all your working. Okay, so this is a system of linear equations. You can do it by a method of substitution or elimination. So as you can see here, the y coefficient is minus 3 and here the y coefficient is plus 1. So if I multiply my second equation by 3, you can make the same y coefficients, right? So the first equation, 2w minus 3y equals to 11, stays the same. Now 3 times 3 is 9w plus 3y, and 3 times 11 is 33. So let me add them up. So this is cancelled out. 9 plus 2 is 11w, and this is 44. 3 plus 1 is 4, 3 plus 1 is 4. So W is 44 divided by 11. So 11 times 4 is 44. So we got the W value, that is 44. Okay, now substitute the W value into your first or second equation to solve for Y. So 3 times of W plus Y equals to 11. So Y is 11 minus 3W. W value is 4. So Y equals to 11 minus 3 times of 4. So Y equals to 11 minus 3 times 4 is 12. So it is negative 1. So we got the Y value, which is negative 1. Question number 10. A group of 12 adults and 9 children travel on a bus. The cost of an adult ticket is $N and the cost of a child ticket is N minus $10. The total cost of the tickets is this much. Calculate the cost of one adult ticket. Okay. So 12 adults and 9 child. Okay. So 12 adults cost is N, plus the 9 the child cost is N minus 10, and the total cost is 277.50. We need to figure out what is the cost of one adult ticket. That's the value for N basically. Okay, now let me simplify. This is 12N plus 9N minus 90 equals to 277.50. Okay, now we can do 12 plus 9 is 21, 21N equals to 277.50, and plus 90, shifting the 90 on the other side. 277.50 plus 90, that is 367. So 21N equals to 367.5. So dividing both sides by 21 to get the value for N. Divided by 21. So this is 17.5. So the N value is 17.5. So the cost of one adult ticket is $17.50. Question number 11. In a sale, the original price of a shirt reduced by 15%. The sale price of the shirt is this much. Calculate the original price of the shirt. Okay. So let's say the original price of the shirt is X, right? So the original price, from the original price, you have to reduce 15% of the original price, you will get the sale price. Let me repeat it again. From the original price of the shirt, if we do a reduction, it's reduce 15% of the original price, you will get the sale price. Let me solve for X. This is 1 minus 15 over 100, and this is equals to $23.63. Okay, so what is 15 over 100? And 1 subtract answer. That is 0.85. Okay, so what is X? X is 23.63 divides 0.85. 23.63 divided by answer. So that price is $27.80. That is the original price of the shirt before the sale. Question number 12. The length of a rectangle is 16 centimeter. Correct to the nearest centimeter. So 1 centimeter, 1 by 2, that is 0.5. The width of a rectangle is 14 centimeter. Correct to the nearest centimeter, again 1 by 2, that is 0.5. Calculate the lower bound of the parameter of a rectangle. Okay, so first we are working with the length, the upper and the lower bound of length. Okay, so in 16 add 0.5, and in 16 subtract 0.5. So when you add, it is 16.5, and when we subtract, it is 15.5. Right, now for the width. So for the width is 14 plus 0.5, and we do 14 minus 0.5. So this is 14.5, and this is 13.5. All right, now we need to figure out what is the parameter. So parameter of a rectangle is 2 into length plus width. That is a formula for the parameter of a rectangle. So we need to figure out the lower bound, right? So this is P into 2 times length plus 2 times of width, right? So when we are dealing with the lower bound in the sum or the difference. So in addition, when we are dealing with the lower bound, both the things should be the lower bound. When we are dealing with the upper bounds, both are upper bounds, right? But it is reversed in case of subtraction. Whenever we have a minus sign over here, the lower, it's lower and then upper. Okay, so we know that the length lower bound is 15.5 and the width lower bound is 13.5. So P would be 2 into length, which is 15.5, plus the width, that is 13.5. Okay. Let me figure out 15.5 plus 13.5 multiply by 2, that is 58. So 58 centimeter is the lower bound of the parameter of a rectangle. Question number 13. Triangle ABC and triangle PQR are mathematically similar. Okay. Part A, calculate the length of PR. This is PR. Okay. When the triangles are mathematically similar, the ratios of their corresponding sides are equal. So the side AB and PQ, their ratio is equals to the side AC and PR. Right. Okay. So we can say AB, this ratio is 9 over PQ, this ratio is 6. This is equals to AC, which is 12 over PR. Okay, now we can do a cross multiplication. PR multiplied by 9 and 6 times 6 multiplying by 12. So what is PR? 6 times 12 divided by 9. That is 8 centimeter is the length of PR. Moving to part B, triangle ABC and triangle PQR are cross sections of two prisms. Okay, these prisms are mathematically similar. So we have one prism and they are basically two prisms, and these two triangles are the cross sections. The volume of the smaller prism, we have given the volume of a smaller prism. Calculate the volume of a larger prism. Okay, so now the larger one is obviously ABC and the smaller one is obviously PQR. So the larger one side you can pick as 9 and the corresponding side you can pick as 6. So the ratio of 9 over 6, its whole cube, is equals to the volume of the larger over the volume of a smaller. So volume of a larger, volume of a smaller is given 1120. Okay, 9 by 3, we have 9 over 6 and its cube. Sorry, that is 27 over 8. This is 27 over 8 and multiply by 1120. That is the volume of the larger one. Times it by 1120. So that is 3780 cubic centimeter. Right. So whenever two shapes are mathematically similar, the ratios of their volumes is equals to the cube of the ratios of their sides, right? When we are dealing with the areas, then the ratios of their areas are equals to the square of the ratios of the sides. All right. Moving to question number 14, we need to factorize this. Okay. We can take 5 common and we are left with x minus 5 times 2 is 10. We can take negative a common, x is left and minus 2 is left. So the factors are x minus 2 and 5 minus a. There are two factors, x minus 2 and 5 minus a. All right. Question number 15. The interior angle of a regular polygon is 172 degrees. Find the number of sides of this polygon. Since it is a regular polygon, we know that measure of each interior angle of a regular polygon is equals to number of sides minus 2 multiplied by 180 degree divided by the number of sides. Okay. Now we can do a cross multiplication. 172n equals to 180n minus 2 times 180 is 360. Further simplification, I want to move 360 on the left side, so 360 becomes positive, 180n stays the same, and moving minus 172 on the other side to make it negative, right? So this is 360. From 180 take away 172 is just 8n, and now let me simplify. Okay. Right. We can say 360 divided by 8, we have 45. Dividing by 8, dividing by 8. So the end value is equals to 45. So number of sides of that regular polygons are 45. Question number 16. On any day, the probability that the weather will be sunny is 0.7. So the probability of sunny is 0.7. Part A, find the probability that on any day the weather will not be sunny. So probability of not sunny is 1 minus probability of sunny. So that is 0.3. Part B, when the weather is sunny, the probability that Rohit goes for a walk is probability for walk is 0.9 when the weather is sunny, right? When the weather is not sunny, probability that Rohit goes for a walk is 0.2. Find the probability that on any day Rohit goes for a walk. On any day, right? It can be a sunny day or it can be a not sunny day. Okay, so the probability of sunny is 0.7, and he go for a walk 0.9, plus the probability of not sunny is 0.3, and he goes for a walk is 0.2. So probability of sunny and the probability of walk plus probability of not sunny and probability he goes for a walk. Okay, now let me simplify this. 0.7 times 0.9, that is 0.63. 0.3 times 0.2, that is 0.06. In 0.06, add up 0.63, that is 0.09. 0.69, that is the probability that he goes for a walk on any day. Question number 17, Part A. Alex invests $400 at a rate of 2.3% per year simple interest. Calculate the total amount Alex has at the end of 5 years. So, in simple, the formula of simple interest, amount formula for simple interest is A equals to P into 1 plus RT. So, A is the amount, P is the investment, 1 plus R is the interest rate, and T is the amount of years. Just simplify. 2.3 divided by 100 multiplied by 5, add up with 1 and multiply by 400. $446. Right. Now for part B, Virat has $100 to spend. In February, he spent X. In March, he spent 10% more than he spent in Feb. Okay, 10% more than in X. Okay, so in Feb we have given X, right? His spending is X. In March, 10% more than he spent in February. So 10% is 10 over 100 of the spending in February plus the spending in so basically the amount of money he spent in Feb, add that amount, that money, into 10% of that amount. So what is that solution? So we have 10 over 100 plus 1, that is 1.1x. Okay, in April he spent 10% more than he spent in March. So again it's 10% more than he spent in the March. Okay, so 10% more, it means in 10% of the April March, which is 1.1x plus add up into 1.1x. Okay, so 10% of 1.1 add up into 1.1, that is 1.21x. Okay, at the end of April, Virat has $33.80 remaining. Find the value of x. Okay, now in the total spending, first we need to add them up, right? So in February he spent X, In March, he spent 1.1x, and in April, he spent 1.21x. And the total from the total spending 100, only $33.80 is left by the end of the April, right? Now let me solve for x. 1 plus 1.1 plus 1.21, that is 3.31x. And from the totals 100, subtract 33.80, so that is 66.2. So what is x? 66.2 divides 3.31, that is $20, right? So that is 20. So he spent $20 in fab, and 10% more of $20, and then 10% more of the spending as compared to the March he spent in April. So the value of x is basically the first spending in fab is $20. From 100 he spent 20, so 80 is left for March and then for April. Now for part C, Bobby invests $500 in an account that pays a compound interest each year. At the end of 17 years, the value of Bobby's investment is this much. Calculate the value of Bobby's investment at the end of 20 years. Alright, so for compound interest, the formula is A equals to P into 1 plus R to the power T. That is a formula for the compound interest. Okay, so let me do this part first, right? So the amount is 700.13, investment is 500, 1 plus r over 100, that is the interest rate, and amount of years are 17. We need to figure out what is the interest rate for the 17 years. Okay, 700.13 over 500, this would be 1 plus r over 100 to the power 17. Taking the power 1 over 17 on both sides, 1 over 17. It is cancelled out, right? Now, if we can do 700.13 over 500 and its power is 1 over 17, you will get 1.02000. This is 1 plus r over 100. Now to get the value for r, subtracting 1, 1.0200 subtract 1, this is r over 100. When you take away 1, this is 0.0200, this is r over 100. Now to get the value for r, multiplying both sides by 100, this is r, so multiplying by 100, that is 2%. So the r value is 2. We have done with the r value. Now once we have the r value, we can easily substitute it into the formula. A would be equals to p into 1 plus r to the power t. We need to find the value of investment by the end of 20 years, means the amount we need to calculate. The investment stays the same, which is 500. 1 plus the interest rate is 2%, and the amount of year is r20. Okay, so 2 divided by 100, add up with 1, and the whole power is 20, and multiply by 500. So that is $742.97. This is the amount, $742.97 by the end of 20 years. Question number 18. A, B, C, D, and E lies on a circle. Find the values of X, Y, and Z. Okay. Let me start with X. So A, B, C, D, and E. Okay. Here is X. It's not the center. All right. So for X, we consider this triangle. Triangle has three sides, and the sum of all three angles of a triangle add up to 180, right? So we can say X plus 26 plus 125, their sum is equals to 180 degree. So what is X? X is from 180, you have to subtract the sum of 125 and 26. Right. 125 plus 26 is 151. 180 take away answer, so X value is 29 degrees. We got the X, which is 29 degrees. All right, moving to Y. Okay, where is Y? Y is over here. Now to get the value of y, so angle y is subtended by the arc A, E, and B. So AB, it is subtended by the arc AB. What else angle subtended by the arc AB? The angle C, 52. So angle y is equals to 52 degrees. Why it is 52? Because the angles subtended by the same arc are equal. So angle y is subtended by the arc A and B. So angle C is also subtended by the arc A and B. Right. Now moving to the angle Z. Okay, to get the value of Z, if we consider this triangle A, E, and C, this triangle, we have angle C is 26. What is angle E? X plus y. X is 29 and the y is 52. The sum of 29 and 52. Let me solve for the third angle of the triangle EAC, right? So the C is 26, the E is 29 and 52, and you can get the angle A by adding them up to 180. What is angle A? From 180, we need to subtract the sum of 26, 29, and 52. 107. So angle A is 180. Take away answer. This is 73 degrees. Okay. So angle A is 73, right? Angle A, and it is subtended by the arc E and C. What is else angle subtended by the A? This you can see angle A is subtended by E and C. So E and C is subtended also by B. So this angle is also 73 degrees. Okay, now you can consider E, D, C, or A. This is a cyclic quadrilateral, a quadrilateral inside the circle, right? And we can also consider E, D, C, B. This is also a cyclic quadrilateral. And we know that in cyclic quadrilateral, opposite angles add up to 180. So angle E and angle C are opposite, and angle D and angle B is opposite, right? So we can say in cyclic quadrilateral, sorry, or in cyclic quadrilateral, the cyclic quadrilateral we are assuming is E, D, C, and B, right? E, D, C, B. Opposite angles add up to 180. So the opposite angle Z and the angle 73, they add up to 180 degree. So the opposite angles are Z and 173. So what is Z? Z would be 180 minus 73. So let me simplify. From 180 take away 73, that is angle Z, that is 107 degrees. Okay. So we got the value of X by considering this triangle, right? Sum of all angles of a triangle add up to 180. This angle, and this angle add up to 180, you will get X. And to get the value for Y, we have to use a concept that angles subtended by the same arc are equal. So this angle is subtended by the arc A and B, and this angle is also subtended by the arc AB. Now to get the value of Z, we have to consider the cyclic quadrilateral, and we need to figure out what is that angle. So if you consider this triangle E, C, and B, this angle is 29, this angle is 26 plus 52, and you will get add up the third angle, and their sum would be equals to 180. And then the cyclic quadrilateral opposite angles add up to 180. I hope this makes sense now. Question number 19, we have a function f of x, g of x, and h of x. Part A, find f of negative 3. Just substitute x equals to negative 3. So negative 3 and positive 1, that is minus 2. Now for part B, the domain of g of x is minus 3, 0, and 2. Find the range of g of x. So we need to figure out what is g of minus 3, what is g of 0, and what is g of 2. That would be the range, the outputs, right? So 5 minus 2 into minus 3, 5 minus 2 into 0, and 5 minus 2 into 2. Okay, so this is 5, and 2 times 3 is 6, plus 6, that is 11. This is 5 minus 0, that is just 5, and this is 5 minus 2 times 2 is 4, this is 1. So the range is 11, 5, and 1. That is the range for the function. Now for part C, find x when h of x is 1 over 32. We need to solve for x. H of x is this much, okay? So h of x is 2 to the power x. This is 1 over 32. 32 is 1 over 2 to the power 5. Let me double check. 2 to the power 5 is 32. Yes. We can write this down as 2 to the power minus 5. Right? Shift in the numerator. When the bases are same, we can compare the powers. So the x value is negative 5. Right. Now for part D, find x when h inverse of x is equals to 3. Since we have h of x, that is equals to 2 to the power x. Right. So h inverse of x is equals to 3. Okay, so what is x? X would be equals to h inverse of 2 to the power x. We have to reuse this. Okay, so from here x would be equals to h of 3. So what is x? Which is h of 3. H of 3 is 2 to the power 3, so 2 cube is 8, so the x value is 8. Question number 20. The diagram shows a quadrilateral ABCD. A, B, C, and D. CD is given, DB is given. Angle this is 90, 56, and 34. It's given. Part A, calculate the length of AB. AB. This length we need to calculate. Since ABD, this is a right angle triangle. We have this angle, right? So the angle front side is opposite and the other side is adjacent. We have the angle opposite over adjacent is a ratio for the tangent. So we can use a ratio of tangent of 34 degrees is equals to the opposite side is AB and the adjacent side is BD, that is 12. Right, so from here AB is equals to 12 times tangent of 34 degrees. Let me simplify this. And tangent of 34 degrees, my calculator is already in degrees, times it by 12, so 8.09 centimeters is the length for AB. This is 8.09. Okay, now for part B, calculate the area of the quadrilateral ABCD. Okay, we need to figure out the area of a quadrilateral A, B, C, and D. So since the quadrilateral is the sum of two triangles, right? The triangle ABD and the triangle BCD. Okay, for this triangle, it is a right angle triangle. Its formula is half base times height. The base is 12 and the height is 8.9. For this triangle, its formula is half the two sides and the sine of angle between them. All right. Now let me figure out area of a quadrilateral is equals to area of a triangle, which is half base times height. Base is 12 and the height is 8.09, plus area of the other triangle, which is half. The two sides are 12 and 10 and the sine of angle between them, that is 56 degrees. All right. Now let me calculate this. 12 times 8.09 divided by 2. This angle, the area is 48.54, and the other one is sine 56 times by 10 times by 12 divided by 2, 49.74 plus 49.74, right? Add them up with 48.54. This is 98.28. So the area is 98.28, or we can say 98.3 meter square, rounded to one decimal place. Now for part C, calculate the parameter of a quadrilateral ABCD. So to get the parameter of a quadrilateral, we have AB, we have CD. We don't have what is AD and what is BC. So AD we can easily get by using trigonometric ratios. Yes, ABD is a right angle triangle. We can say cos theta is adjacent over hypotenuse. We can get AD, right? So triangle A, B, and D. Cos of 34 degrees is adjacent side is 12 and the hypotenuse is AD. So what is AD? AD is cross multiplied 12 over cos of 34 degrees. Cross multiplied. AD is over here and the cos 34 is in the denominator. So cos of 34, 12 divided by answer 14.47, or we can say 14.5 meters. So we have done with AD. AD length is 14.5. Okay, now we need to figure out what is the length of BC. Consider the triangle BCD, the two sides and the angle between them. We can use a law of cosine on BCD, right? Now on triangle BC and D, law of cosine. Okay, so BC square is equals to 10 square plus 12 square minus 2 into 10 into 12 and cos of the angle between them, which is 56 degrees. Okay, let me figure out what is cos 56 times by 12 times by 10 times by minus 2, add up 12 square, add up 10 square. Now BC is a square root of 109.79. Okay, square root of answer is 10.47. So BC is 10.47 or 10.5 meters. We can round it to. This is 10.5. Okay, now we can easily get the parameter of a quadrilateral by sum of all four sides. Alright, so we can say the parameter of a quadrilateral, this is a sum of 10 plus 10.5 plus 8.09 plus 14.5. Okay, 10 plus 10.5 plus 8.09 plus 14.5, that is 43.09, or we round it to 43.1 meters. That is the parameter of the quadrilateral. Now for part D, calculate the shortest distance from B to the line AD. Look at B to the line AD, A and D. Okay, the shortest distance. All right, let me draw that shortest distance from B to the line AD. That is a perpendicular distance, right? So now B, DB, and then this shortest distance, it is a right angle triangle. Okay, let me draw that triangle separately. You can say this would be a right angle triangle now. Okay, now B to D, this is B and this is D. This length is 12 and the angle is 34. We need to get this shortest distance. The same thing, it is a right angle triangle. Okay, now the shortest distance becomes, we can use a Sukatra, the cos sine opposite over hypotenuse. So sine of 34 degrees is opposite over the hypotenuse. So what is x? X is 12 times sine of 34 degrees. Okay, let me calculate it. Sine of 34 times it by 12. This is 6.71. 6.71 meters is the shortest distance from B to the line AD. Question number 21, we need to simplify part A. 3 times 5 is 15 and t power 5 and t power 3. 3 times 5 is 15 times t to the power 5 plus 3. Bases are same, we can add the power. So 15 t to the power 8, the simplified answer, right? Now for part B, okay, 64, its power is 5 over 6, u 36, and its power is 5 over 6. Okay, now 64 to the power of 5 by 6 is 32. Okay, and 5 by 6 times by 36 is 30. So u to the power of 30. This is a simplified answer. Question number 22. We have a universal set number of students in a class. Number of students who study geography is G and the number of students who study history is H. The Venn diagram shows information about 33 students in the class. So the total number of students are 33. Okay. 8 plus 13 plus 7 plus 5. Yeah, it's 33. Good. Part A. One of the students in the class is picked at random. Out of 33 students, one is picked at random. Find the probability that this student, number one, does not study geography and does not study history. Okay. No geography, no history. 5 students. So 5 out of 33 students. That is the probability. Second part, studies geography and studies history. Both the geography and the history are 13 students out of 33 students. Part B, two of the students who study history are picked at random. Two of the students who study history. How many students study history? 13 plus 7 students study history. 13 plus 7, that is 20. 13 plus 7 is 20 students. Now the sample space is 20 students total, right? Find the probability that one student also study geography and one student does not study geography. Now from the students who study history, we need to pick one student who also study geography. So there are 13 students, right? So 13 out of 20, multiply the second student do not study geography, just the history. So we have 7 students out of 19 students. Plus there is another combination. Let's say the first student is the one who does not study geography, only the history out of 20 students, and the second student is the one who study the geography as well out of 19 students, right? Let me simplify this. We have 13 times 7 is 91 and 20 times 19 is 380 plus 91 over 380. Okay, 91 plus 91, 182. So that is 182 over 380. So divided by 380, 91 over 190. That is the simplest form of the probability of the two students who study geography or it does not study geography. Question number 23, we need to simplify. Let me take h common from the numerator. H plus 4 is left. And the denominator, we use a difference of square formula. A square minus b squared. This is equals to a plus b into a minus b. So we have h square minus 4 square. So this is h plus 4 and h minus 4. Cancel the like factors. We are left with h over h minus 4. Question number 24. Ahmed walks 2 kilometers at a speed of x kilometer per hour. So this is a distance and this is a speed. He then walks a further 3 kilometer at a speed of x plus 1 kilometer per hour. The total time he walks it takes to walk 5 kilometer is this much, 1 by 4 hour. Part A, show that this equation. All right, so we know that the speed is distance over time. Okay. All right, and what is time? Time is distance over speed. So the distance is 2 kilometer, the speed is x, 2 over x. Plus when the distance is 3 kilometer, the speed is x plus 1. And these two equals to the total time, which is 1 by 4. 4 times 1 is 4 plus 1 is 5 out of 4 hours, right? Now simplify. 2 is multiplying with the cross multiplying. 3 is cross multiplying with x over x into x plus 1. This is 5 by 4. Okay. This is 2x plus 2 plus 3x and cross multiplied by 4. And this is 5 and cross multiplied by x square plus x. Okay. Let me do the further simplification over here. So 4 is outside, we have 5x plus 2, and 5 is outside, we have x square plus x. So 4 times 5 is 20x, 4 times 2 is 8. We have 5x square plus 5x. Okay, now 5x square plus 5x, and this term is minus 20x minus 8 equals to 0. So 5x square and minus 15x minus 8 equals to 0. This is exactly in that form. Part B, find the value of x. You show all your working and give your answer correct to two decimal place. Okay, we have 5x square minus 15x minus 8 equals to 0. It is a quadratic equation. So the a value is the coefficient of x square, the b value is a coefficient of x, and the c value is a constant term, right? Now I want to apply a quadratic formula over here. So x is equals to negative of b plus minus square root b square minus 4ac. This whole thing divided by 2 times of a. Okay, let me apply the quadratic formula. So x is equals to negative of b plus minus square root the b value square minus 4 times the a value times the c value. Okay, and this whole thing is going to divide by 2 times of the a value. Okay, what is x? This is 15 plus minus square root. Okay, 4 negative negative positive 4 5 and 8. 160 plus 15 square is 385, and root of 385 is, okay, root 385. 2 times 5 is 10. Okay, now we need to get two solutions. 15 plus root 3 385 divided by 10. The first solution is 3.4 up to two decimal place. So the x value is 3.46 and the other x value is 15 minus root 384 divided by 10. That is negative 0.46. Okay, we need to get the value of x, not the values of x. Okay, so what is x? X is basically the speed, and speed never be negative, so we need to take the positive speed. So the only solution is 3.46 kilometer per hour. That is a speed x. Question number 25. P is the point 80, Q is the point 20 and 6. Find the equation of perpendicular bisector of PQ. Give your answer in the form of y equals to mx plus c. Okay. So for equation of perpendicular bisector of P and Q, the first thing we need is a midpoint of PQ. So the midpoint of PQ is adding up the x components divided by 2. 8 and 20 are the x component. The y components are 0 and 6 divided by 2. Right. Now let me simplify. 8 plus 20 is 28 divided by 2 is 14. 0 plus 6 is 6 divided by 2 is 3. 14 and 3 is the midpoint. Okay. The second thing we need is the slope or the gradient of the line of point PQ. The slope is basically the y2 minus y1. 6 minus 0 over x2 minus x1. Here we have 6 from 20, take away 8 is just 12. Okay. So 6 over 12 is 1 by 2. This is a slope of a line PQ. Now what is the slope of a line that is perpendicular to PQ, that is negative reciprocal of 1 by 2 is just 2 by 1. Right? Now let me write the equation. Y equals to mx plus c. So y equals to m is minus 2x plus c. To get the c value, use the point. X is 14 and the y is 3. Okay, y value is 3 minus 2x value is 14 plus c. So this is 3 and this minus shift to plus, and 2 times 14, 28. 28 plus 3 is 31. That is the c value. Okay, once we got the c value, we have the equation y equals to m x plus c minus 2x plus 31. That is the equation of perpendicular bisector of PQ. Question number 26, we have y, dy by dx, find the values of a, b and c. Okay. For the function y, let me take its derivative. What is dy over dx, right? A is a constant term. X to the power 11 is basically 11x to the power 10 plus 3 is a constant term. X to the power b is b x to the power b minus 1, their derivative. Now compare with the given derivative. D by dx, this is equals to 44x to the power 10 and this is 18x to the power c. Okay, now we can do a comparison. X to the power 10, the coefficient is x to the power 10 coefficient is 11a equals to 44. So what is a? 44 over 11, that is just 4. So the a value is 4, right? Okay, now comparing the coefficients for x. Yeah, so 18 and on the other side 3b. Dividing both sides by 3, 6 is the b value. So the b value is 6. Now comparing the powers. B minus 1, this is equals to c. Since the b value is 6 minus 1, that is c. So 5 is equals to the c value. All right. Question number 27. The diagram shows a cube. Calculate the angle between the diagonal PQ, AP, and the base ABCD. Okay, angle between the diagonal. AP is a diagonal, its angle with the base ABCD. Alright, since it is a cube, it means all the side lengths are equal. The length equals to the width equals to the height. Let's say the length is x, x, the x. The length, width, and the height is x, right? Okay, so PQ makes the angle with the base. So ABCD is a base. Now it is a cube, right? So the base is a square, right? A, B, C, D, that is a square. So this is a right angle over here. So we have this side and this side. What is the hypotenuse of the triangle? Let me figure this out. So AC square equals to x square plus x square, that is equals to AC equals to 2x square and the square root, right? So AC becomes root 2 and x is outside. We have done with AC, which is root 2x. Now AP diagonal makes with the base. This angle we need to calculate theta. Okay, in order to calculate this angle, we can use, again, it is a right angle triangle, we can use a SOHCAHTOA. The angle front side is opposite and this is adjacent, right? So we can use a ratio for tangent. So tan theta is opposite side is x and the adjacent is root 2x. X is cancel out with x. So theta would be equals to tangent inverse of 1 over root 2. That is the value for theta. Let me simplify. Okay, so tangent inverse 1 divided by root 2, this angle is 35.26. So theta is 35.264 or rounded to 35.3 degrees. That is the angle that the diagonal makes with the base of this cube. So that was the last question of our paper. If you have any queries, please let me know in the comment section and please subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Take care.